Hey everybody, welcome back to our Sunface Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're here watching some Gundam seed. Last time we had the Orb Union space colony Heliopolis is attacked by zaft despite its neutrality since the beginning of the Bloody Valentine War. Kira Yamato accidentally seized the Earth Alliance new prototype mobile suits, which have been secretly constructed at the Heliopolis, Morganarote factory. He encounters his childhood friend, Athern Zala, now a zaft soldier, as one of the attackers. So these are some pretty short plot lines, but Theta, I hear that you have a whole bunch of thoughts. Let's go over Theta thoughts.
Well, I mean, before we do that, you've kind of gotten us out of order already. We have a
Little
comment.
I didn't even see the comment there. All right, I'm all over the place. So that's what happened last time.
Usually the first thing we do.
Our comment, though, from Chris Wilcher says, a little cringe,
From
but this
Patreon,
was my...
by the way.
Yeah. A little cringe, but this was my entry to Gundam. It'll be interesting rewatching whether it holds up. That's kind of the ride I'm here for, too, honestly. I watched it so long ago. I need to know, like, was it any good? Was it kind of bad? What value was there really in it? That's what I'm here for.
Well, you couldn't stop laughing last time, so I guess that's some sort of denotation.
It tells me that I'm having fun. But a little cringe is definitely correct.
Alright. Well then,
Right.
On to the Theta's thoughts then.
Now that we're completely disorganized, give it a shot.
Well, I guess the first thing to do, I didn't want to do it first, but I think it makes the most sense, would be to go to here.
The concept board.
I'll bring it up here. Where are you? There we go. I tried my best. This is probably all wrong, but I tried to put together who's who and their relationships to one another. I think the only people I probably got right here are the zaft people.
Yeah, because they have like a very obvious military structure kind of going on, and we have like the squad here too.
Right. And then the people here, I just couldn't figure out their relationship to other people, like a dude from the first ship who clearly gets name dropped, and then I can't tell if he showed up again later or not because, helmets, they're my kryptonite. And then
yeah, we got like
three...
a separation between like the Federation and like all of Kira's friends right now.
Right. But I also just couldn't stop laughing when I saw this. Oh, sorry. To zoom. Nattery, bad girl. Bad girl, Griff. Her name is fucking Bad Girl. What the hell?
Well,
what hell naming convention is that? I mean, worse yet, she's positioned on the good guy side. God damn it, my zoom.
She's the girl boss of the show, if I remember right. Also the captain.
But she's on the good guy side, which either means I'm looking out for like a betrayal to happen at some point. Her name is Bad Girl.
But bad girls are good. So she's on the good side.
That doesn't work unless you're in Scooby-Doo. The Hex Girls, we're the good bad girls. The bad good girls.
Oh god, going back decades there on that one. Then again, Scooby-Doo is like, hey, how far into the 50s do you want to go?
Well, no, this is 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Hex Girls don't show up until after the movie.
Yeah. Of course, the one that I think I want to kind of like look at a little bit is, of course, Kalagali? Yeah, that's how it says. Kagila. Kagali. Where she only has like a line between here and there, but she's already mentioned like, I think her father is supposed to have made the Gundams, right?
I'll bring that up later.
So
here,
of course
Griff, you're already in the middle of
somewhere
talking.
up here,
You're
right?
already in the middle of talking about it. Say that talking point then.
Sure.
If I remember which one it is, since you're bringing it up early.
Oh, let's go ahead and hit the talking points, then.
Where is it?
I also like that the bird is, in fact...
Or maybe I didn't put it here. I'm pretty sure that I did. Or maybe I realized... I'll bring it up later. Go on, whatever other thoughts you have about the board.
Oh, I mean, that was ultimately going to be the end of it, other than just like Birdie is here, but we don't have our female lead character attached to it yet.
Well, oh, that's a spoiler.
The bird belongs to someone.
Yeah, and they were in the episode, and you said, oh, I said, oh, they belong to somebody else? And you're like, yeah, and I thought you indicated who, and I couldn't remember when I was making the board. I was making the board while I was watching the episode. But now
It's
you're
okay. I
indicating
think
to
episode
me,
1 didn't make it obvious.
you're indicating to me there's somebody not on the board that's a main character. Don't spoil the game, Griff.
It's okay. Trust me, you'll figure it out eventually. But yeah, the most connected thing we have right here is our little triangle here, where these two have now teamed up. These two used to be friends, and these two are, of course, absolute enemies. And they're all going to take it down to the end of the end zone here, and we're going to get a good game of football. I realize I was drawing a little too much.
Yeah, famously, football only has one stitch.
Honestly, that triangle probably best represents like the primary conflict of the show right there.
Really? Really? The girl that gets shot at by this guy and this guy who's a friend with that guy, that's the main three people?
Yeah, well, I think as an early setup, it is a good representation of what's going on, which is, of course, Kira and Atheron being our primary characters. And, of course, the center conflict that brings them against each other. Not necessarily her in particular, but the Federation.
Not necessarily her in particular, but I'm going to circle her, this one person. Despite calling this one the one in charge earlier.
Well, we'll get
the
to
bad
that.
girl.
So, I think that's all I got here for the concept board right now. We'll see more zaft shenanigans eventually too, which we're a little light on, but we'll get there. What are your thoughts, Theta?
zaft as an acronym works fine, but something about the actual organization's name ending in the word treaty feels wrong to me. NATO works because the O stands for organization. We don't call it NAT, North Atlantic Treaty. By the same token, Zafto sounds like shit too. Zaft sounds better than that. This is just a no-win scenario.
They wanted a cool sounding name is what I'm thinking here.
I'm super annoyed that they put this in the opening, so that ended up having to slow down the playback to incredibly slow speeds to catch the half of a half of the half of the half of a frame that this showed up in.
Mm-hmm.
But the text that flashes on screen says GAT-X303 Aegis Gundam, Buster Gundam GAT-X103, GAT-X103 Dual Gundam, which is, by the way, either a typo or I've seen the same thing twice, X103. Blitz Gundam GAT-X207, and ZGMF-1017 GNN. And then the names, Athrinzala, Dirka Eltman, Yazik Yule, Nicole Amafari, Miguel Amen, which what I would have to anticipate to mean the name of the Gundams and their pilots synced up in that order of names. So, I guess
that exactly
Atherin is going to pilot the Aegis. Dirka is going to pilot the Buster. Yazik is going to pilot the Duel. Nicole is going to pilot the Blitz. And Miguel is going to pilot the unnamed GNN thing. The only one of these apparently made by somebody else, I guess?
Good question. I'm not sure what to think about there, because there are 5 Gundams on the field right now, and they got away with 4 of them.
Yeah.
Miguel might just be the person who doesn't get one.
No, specifically, there there's 5 Gundams here. Only 3 of them, 4 of them have X20, or the GAT-X number after them. This one is a ZGMF-1017 GNN.
Maybe it just ends up in a normal mobile suit. Alright, what else you got?
The first episode, in a nutshell, is that the plants launch a new offensive on Earth, I guess. The opening makes it sound like a surprise attack, but the history recap says that this has been going on for 11 months now. Certainly the attack on Orb is a surprise attack, as it appears to be the current location of Earth's new weapons, the Gundams. Even then, that shouldn't be such a surprise, given that earlier in the episode the ship's captain calls Orb a nation of Earth, and Kira calls Kaohsiung, which is under attack by the plants, the homeland. Later on, the dock controller says that zaft vessels' approach is in violation of a treaty with their homeland, which then makes no sense at all facts considered. The dock workers and computer screens call it Heliopolis rather than Orb, though, so I am thoroughly confused. Either way, you have to consider it an overwhelming victory for Zaft, having suffered a minimal number of losses compared to the defense forces, and successfully getting away with 4 out of 5 Gundams.
Yeah, as far as an intro for our Team Evil over here, they did everything perfectly. They got completely away scot-free, minimal cost. They were efficient and obviously a threat. And now they have 4 Gundams.
Even in my above notes, I have, let's see. Just my little, even with, since a big giant, when looking at concept board in giant bold letters, point out that Natari Bad Girl's name is just Bad Girl. So, my notes. I had already told you, let's see, CE equals Cosmic Era. The current year is CE 70. The Bloody Valentine Tragedy equals question mark, question mark, question mark. It's Earth versus Plants. Plants equals blank.
Space.
Well, technically.
Space. So Space versus Earth, the classic Gundam conflict.
Well, we don't know. I don't know what plants are. We don't know what plants are. Technically, you do. I'm using the royal we, as in show watchers, first time watching.
I thought that was just the name of the space stations.
No. Well, we'd know. You're assuming. Well, you're not assuming, because you know. This is an unfair assumption, Griff, and also I'm trying to group you together with people who don't know. So, I don't know, maybe I should just group you together with all the people who watched Gundam. The thing that you do know is that I know that I don't know that you know that you don't know. No, it's already incorrect. What I know is that you know that you may have forgotten that you know, but you do know at some level.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. The war's been going on for 11 months. Kaohsiung is under attack, referenced as the homeland. The colony is called Orb, referred to as a nation of Earth at the same time. The readouts and the dock workers call it Heliopolis. So that was my notes referring to that last big paragraph that I read and why I said the things that I said that may or may not be wrong or right. Because if I was to think that anything is referring to the space stations, it would be that they would be called orbs. Because why would they call this one orb? Why would they call this one orb? Then the orb has a separate, different name, Heliopolis. And then these people refer to Kaohsiung as the homeland. When Kaohsiung is under attack, so why would them approaching Orb be a break of the treaty when they're already attacking the homeland? If your homeland's under attack, then you're already at war.
Yeah, I'm a little confused too now. I think we'll probably get a good bit of the politics eventually once, like, the action slows down. I think that's what's going to happen.
We got a child soldier thing going on before the kids even reach the mobile suits, with Bad Girl mentioning that there were kids that age already on the front lines.
Yeah, shock and horror of it.
Well, not really, because she only mentions it. We never see it.
Well, no, I mean, like, we literally see it.
Not really. Well, sure, if we assume that bad girl is a bad girl and not on the side of the good guys, in which case, because the only kids that we see on the front lines are on Zaft's side, not on our side. We only see adults fighting and dying on our side.
Give it an episode. I'm sure we'll see some kids fighting for the Federation soon.
Of course. They just fucking got in the mobile suit.
Yeah.
I don't remember if we talked about it, but this was clearly an inside job. Sorry, I've said this wrong. I don't remember if we talked about it, but there was clearly an inside man on Orb that left the Zaft people in through the security, as the infiltrators flew up to the hatch and just waited for the security to drop. Obviously, my money would be on Mysterious Hat Girl, that nobody knew until that moment. But also, she was there to see the professor everyone kept talking about, somebody that vanished right when the invasion was happening. Hat Girl even has a moment looking down at the Gundams and calls the Earth Federation Force, Earth Federation at the Universal Century, the Earth Force's new weapons, which doesn't denote that that's the side she's on, and cries out that her father betrayed them. That's the note I was going for earlier. Which gives me the feeling that her father was on Zaft's side, but then gave Earth this new design.
Obviously, if I knew the backstory, I wouldn't be able to spoil it for you.
Right. I guess this is more so that I'm paying attention, so anyone who watched me laughing with you last episode understands that I did go back and I'm trying, but this show has a lot of either loopholes or holes that it's leaving to be answered later.
It has only been 20 minutes.
Well, depends. Depends on what you consider the length of the telling of the story.
Mm-hmm.
We did get a lot of people shopping and whatnot. Oh, this is the one I was going to have to explain later, and I'm having to explain this note now.
Now we're later.
Yeah. Well, we're not only later, but we're through the end of some technical drama that we've had to do in the middle. So, I wrote this note. Okay, here's how I do things, right? I'm sorry to say this, people who love Gundam Seed, more excited to watch Universal Century. I did all of my Universal Century note-taking first, and then did not realize, in the process of doing so, that we would be watching Gundam Seed first. So I've written myself a note to say here that refers to a thing that I haven't done yet, because we watch Gundam Universal Century tomorrow in our recording schedule. So, I'm now going to refer to a conversation we have not had yet, Griff. And I want you to just pretend, for the sake of this recording, that we've had a conversation about this, and you remember what I'm referring to.
Alright, pretending I know what you're talking about, as usual.
And then tomorrow, when we have this conversation, pretend I haven't spoiled it already by this note here.
Forgetting everything by tomorrow? Oh, I can do that.
Okay. And I'm leaving all this in, by the way, the explanation, so that the audience knows what the hell's going on, too. Only writing this due to the fact that we are watching Universal Century at the same time, and I just did a breakdown on the caliber of weapons the new Zeon forces are using in the Origin. In that, I specifically pointed out that their gun was stated to fire 100mm rounds, comparable to that of a tank's main gun, at a rate of 480 rounds per minute. In contrast, we can see the readouts during the fight in Seed that the weapons being fired are Vulcan cannons, which fire 20mm rounds at 6,000 rounds per minute. That is a far superior rate of fire compared to the Zeon gun. However, it's still essentially holding a minigun up to a tank barrel. Using the example of the Origin Episode 4 Iron Cavalry vs. Zeon battle, we know that the RCX-76 can take multiple hits from a Zeon weapon before being incapacitated. So I'd be willing to say that it must have comparable armor to a modern battle tank. I make the comparison for the sake of this. A number of former soldiers were asked before about if a M61 Vulcan could take out a tank, and while there was a lot of back and forth over specifics, the general answer was that a modern battle tank had nothing to fear from it. So, in this one-time comparison of universes, Universal Sentry seems to be dominating the mobile suit/weapons race.
Right, like I probably pointed out before, like that's just the paradigm that we're in. Presumably they are building weapons in both series that are supposed to be effective, but I mean, we have the Universal Sentry example where obviously they didn't, and here we have. Well, I don't think we've actually seen them in action all that much versus each other, have we?
No,
We just
I'm going
know the
off of
stats breakdown.
the weapons we've seen.
Yeah.
So we've seen the zaft, weird Zaku ripoff sort of thing, and the guns that have been used against them, which again were Vulcan according to the readouts on their displays. So again, it's the difference between a slower firing tank cannon, and I say slower firing. Well, we'll have had gotten into that and have already gotten into that.
Depending on your wobbly, timey-wimey around
depending on your watch order, because technically that episode of The Origin will air before this one does. If you're watching on YouTube, although this episode will have gone up on Patreon before that episode does. So
great making time paradoxes, Theta.
It's a very weird situation that we're in. But if you're wondering, then just go watch episode 5 of The Origin, in which that other half of this conversation is and will have been taking place.
I guess let's go ahead and keep that in mind as we watch. Like this idea that maybe the seed stuff is not at tank level of armor, and then let's see something hit them and nothing happen. That's gonna be fun.
Well, I think that there's the breakdown, but I don't know if this is actually true or not. The fact that seed, like the way that Gundam 00 is supposed to take, was it Gundam 00 that was supposed to take Gundam Wing and make it better?
Yes, I think so. That's what you said before, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and I think it's supposed to be seed that's supposed to take Universal Sentry and make it better. So I think they're supposed to be comparable. But again, it's the fact that I'm going with the breakdown of weaponry here, like I did in episode 5 of The Origin, as we both remember. And and as I've said here, the fact that the Zeon forces, because we know that if you remember what I said tomorrow about the breakdown of the Gundam beam weaponry, that they're working on something comparably also higher tech. Because I think having a God, I don't even know what the hand size of a Gundam is, but having a gun that's that big, that's essentially
the size of a building.
Well, it's not the size of a building. They're 18 meters typically.
Yeah.
I think RX-78 is 18 meters. So that's the standard. The Gundams are measured.
Yeah, but obviously, like, once they start making the beam weaponry, regardless, we're like outside the realm of like being able to compare it to something in reality. Really.
Well, no, I'm not even talking about the beam weaponry. I was using that as an example that the Gundam side has an equivalent to a sci-fi type weapon that the Zeons have developed that we've already seen in the episode 4.
Yep.
But I'm just saying that I think Zaku's are shorter than 18 meters. But whatever the hand size is, that you've developed a weapon that's essentially all the firing components of a tank, and then accelerated that. Because a tank fires, as we said tomorrow, about 3 shots on average a second. I'm sorry, not 3 shots. A shot every 3 seconds on average. And the Zaku gun is blowing that out of the water with 480 shots a minute. So yeah, so it's very much in the realm of beyond our current capabilities, because I think even an autoloader can't keep those speeds. And that's That's why I was mentioning that the sci-fi weaponry of the Gundam, the beam weaponry and everything is kind of their comparable measure to this super tank gun that they've built on the Zeon side. Because otherwise, you and me have mocked constantly the fact that guns don't seem to do anything to Gundams. And that's essentially what we're going into here with the seed stuff, is that they're using guns. The Vulcan is just a minigun of sort, a high-caliber minigun being used against Gundams. It doesn't seem to do anything, versus what we would think to be the gun, because a fucking Gundam is holding it like a gun, and it's actually more like a tank.
Right. It's fun comparing the numbers, and also, like, just thinking, like, everything in UC is basically a tank regiment. Every single mobile suit.
I mean, this is probably the closest you and me are ever going to be doing our own literal death battle. I've crunched the numbers. I've measured their weapon script. I think the Zaku is taking this one.
But you see, once the seed activates its starburst mode, that has, like, the power of 10,000 kilotons of TNT, which isn't enough to compare to the power of a sun.
I think you're incorrect, Rick, because the only starburst I'm aware of is from Farscape.
You haven't seen The Last Starfighter, then, I see.
That's Death Blossom.
Ah, darn it. Ah.
Yes, I have seen The Last Starfighter. Alright, my last note here. If Kira's superpower is fast hacking, you literally said that, so I have to believe it to be true. And we see Nicole doing the exact same thing, and I have no idea what a plant is yet. Does that mean Kira is a plant?
In more ways than one, sometimes.
Again, my notes here...
You set me up for the joke, I had to go.
My notes here is plants equals blank, because I don't know what a plant is. But you said that Kira's superpower is fast hacking, and literally there's a scene with Nicole in their suit doing a really fast hacking thing. So it's either they both can do this thing, or this is a thing that plants can do. And if that's true, I'm doing an A equals B equals C maneuver here.
Right. But I'm going to say, I don't think they call their special type of people plants. I think this episode we are going to hear them say the word, though.
They said plants somewhere. I didn't get that from you, Grip. I watched the episode, and my note-taking is that they said it's like been Earth versus plants. And they don't define what plants are. So I'm going to assume they're not referring to the organization, because they called the organization Zaft.
Yeah.
So the plants must be the people. This is an Earthanoids versus Spacenoids, or I forgot the other one we had. What was which one? Mercury?
Spacian and Earthian.
And Spacian. So this must be
and now we have plants versus rocks.
Well, it's capital letters, right? It's capital P, capital L, capital A, capital N, capital T, lowercase s.
Right, because it's plural.
Yes. Which means plants means something. Which is why, again, I have equals I don't know. I don't know what plants are. Which sounds weird. That's the out of context snippet, right? For our little back and forth game of snippets. I don't know what plants are.
We gotta just get you watching the episodes. So Theta, is that all of your thoughts?
That's all of my thoughts. Oh, I guess you've gotten this far in the episode. You've probably figured out now that you're watching Seed and not Universal Century due to the overlay situation happening here. But
we said it a few times, so...
We said it during the first episode. We didn't say it here again. And again, this is a separate episode. But we didn't say it at the front. But also, today we're watching 2 episodes back to back, so don't expect another breakdown in the second episode. Also...
The third episode. This is the second episode.
The second episode today, I said. I said we're watching 2 episodes back to back.
They don't know that.
Yeah, they do. I just told them. I said we're watching 2 episodes back to back, so don't expect another breakdown in the second episode.
Well, what you can expect is that we're going to go ahead and watch.
Well, first, expected in the 4th episode is what I'm trying to get at, that I won't have any intelligent things to say, especially if Griff goes into a laugh track.
No guarantees. So, I think with that, let's go ahead and watch. But before we do, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all that, if you want more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as some early access stuff, you can go ahead and follow us over on the Patreon. It's just $5 a month, but no pressure. It's all support the channel, just a little bit extra.
Oh, click the link down below. Join the Discord. Let us know if you actually like Seed, or if you hate Space Jesus, as I hear he's been called. Seriously, that's the thing that they play during the opening of a movie that lets you know that the sound quality is, like, better than average.
Oh, the THX boom.
Also, the Bloody Valentine thing I mentioned before.
But yeah, I think this also helps give context. Plants are just space people, yeah.
I didn't say that yet, Griff. Also, they combined the word early predictions into one word. Take that, Gundam 00.
Look at those civilian casualties.
Oh no, it's more that looks like the solar elevator thing in Gundam 00. Watch as I shoot your friend.
I just love the space mobility that they got here. They're obviously in lower gravity and just hopping around.
Well, remember, he jumped from like 2 stories up to land on the Gundam.
Yeah, it's just fun to see.
Yeah, Zathrin got in the other one. And the 3 outside got in the one that was being transported down the tube.
Gundam.
It's an acronym!
I know, it's such a stretch too, isn't it?
I mean, it's kind of better than the Universal Century model, because that's just, we put gun in front of everything, right?
Yeah,
gun cannon, we have the gun cannon. We have the gun tank. Well, what the fuck does Gundam mean? And like I said, I think if not for the fact of 1, weird fashion choices, and 2, the fact that Griff just can't stop laughing, this is a pretty good opening. Not for this episode specifically, maybe, but for the show. Because it's literally... It's like the best parts... Not the best parts. It's parts from... Sorry. Every time you laugh, Griff, I'm just like, ah! It's
I'm
like
just
parts...
smiling here. I'm just smiling.
My favorite Gundam thing so far, of everything we've watched, has possibly been Gundam The Origin Episode 3. You know, the whole assault on Guardian... The Guardian Banshee thing. It was fucking amazing. And that's how this show starts. And that's pretty good.
Right, it did really well with the action, the pacing, like setting up stakes and like putting a little bit of drama and like everything all in once. It was a great pilot episode.
But the fact you keep laughing about everything tells me that things are going to go downhill pretty quickly. So, what I'm saying is, despite your interference in my enjoyment of the show, it seems to be pretty good so far.
Oh, that's what I'm here for. That's why the second reactor is here. So I can interfere with him.
Well, it's like every show that you've enjoyed and I've been, I don't know, this kind of sucks. Someone's got to take it, but I feel like apparently the rest of the community agrees with you.
Well, at least I'm having fun.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
8 levels of evacuation, huh?
It's also weird that these things would be called orbs, considering their shape.
Someone didn't do their geometry, maybe.
Also, that kid in the back that's wearing the red shirt thing with the fiery marks on the bottom. 1, my fashion from the 90s. 2, feels like a Digimon trainer.
He's like a young Guy Fieri there. Yeah, no.
The guy that's pulling along that girl from Razafon, the one that gets in a bad train accident.
He sticks around, so keep an eye out for him.
I know, he's on the concept board. Why put the gun away? They're not even firing back. You've got range.
He wants to capture it.
Oh, right. That'd be a feather in his cap, I assume.
いや違うあいつがあんなところにいるはずが
Saw him. He said your name. Ah, the superpowers are active again.
The power of super hacking.
Well, it's not hacking. It's hacking. They take over the...
下がってなさい死にたいのすみません
Yeah, flopping over the driver's chair in the middle of the fight, not good.
Oh, I thought they were specifically focusing on her chest. Why are you shocked? Also, where did the color come from?
They pressed the button to activate the armor.
Did they? Or does that happen while I was mocking them for the chest flop?
こいつらはフェーズシフトの走行を持つんだ
Yeah, phase shift. There you
展
go.
開されたらジンのサーベルなど通用しない
I'm saying, so wouldn't all 4 others also have that?
That's right.
You've got to be pretty damn skilled to shoot a missile out of the air.
They are crazy for sure.
So are they picking the color schemes, or is that just built in?
I think it's built in. It'd be funny, it's like, I need to activate the armor, but it needs me to choose a color first. What do I do?
いくら走行がよかろうが
I'm gonna say it now. If the Gundam's headcanon thing injures this fake Zaku, that's proof that the Vulcan cannons can damage mobile suits.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes these weaker. Right, but she's in control of that, so why did she zoom in on his friends? Instead of the mobile suit they're fighting?
I think he just turned to look at them is all.
Yeah, no, she zoomed in on his friends for some reason.
Two-step shoulder rush, very nice.
So is it, are they gonna say that his developing of that suit from the first episode is what taught him how to pilot this?
No. I believe the answer to that is no, it's not that.
むちゃくちゃだこんな OS
Because, you know, their project for the professor was like this weird contraption suit thing that he was in. When the colony
And here
got
they're
attacked.
complaining about the operating system. It's like, it's Linux, they don't understand it. I'm a hobbyist, get out of my way.
Because this feels like the complexity level that they say that a jumbo jet has, right?
There you go, they do nothing.
That even a prop fighter, prop pilot can't pilot a jumbo jet. It's just too fucking complex.
Yeah, there's like way too many random things you have to take care of.
So he's a plant. Right? That's what I'm getting. Like, plants are super advanced people that have hacking skills or something.
Yeah, like, obviously it's not normal.
急に動きが
And this guy has been calling him a natural the whole time.
So I'm going to take the flashback to mean that it's not Atherin that went off to join the plants. It's Kira that went off to join the Earthlings? I don't know what you call them.
あとはアーマーシュナイダーこれだけか
See, Vulcan, you saw that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
くそチョロチョロとこんなところでやめろ
The knives work, though.
Yeah, but not super effective. You just leave them and your victims.
ハイドロートなし多元駆動システム停止えい
A minute?
Yeah, that seems a little much.
I mean, well, I guess you don't have control of the arms anymore. I guess technically you can wrap your legs around the other guy and hope the self-destruct takes him. Like a weird James Bond maneuver. Nice, the bad girl. Yeah, they were on a ship, weren't they?
That's right.
Well, they were near one. Mentioned.
What a scene to get into.
I thought they died already. I thought their ship was in the hangar that all the explosives were put around to prevent anyone from escaping.
I guess they got to leave and then just crash.
どうやらいささかうるさいハエが一匹飛んでいるようだぞ。ミゲル・アイマンよりのレーザービーコンを受信。エマージェンシーです。ミゲルが機体を失うほどに動いているとなれば。
That's right. As I understand it, he's gonna get a Gundam equivalent later.
そのままにはしておけん。
Or so the opening would spoil. Are we already halfway through?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, whoever the hell this girl is. The other main character you would assume is apparently the bird belongs to. Wait, are the two guys I associated with her already dead? Then how are you unscratched?
That's what she's wondering.
There's a heinous amount of clothes floating around here for you to be completely unscratched.
Ah, the new type Flash.
I was about to say, is he a new type? Or do plants get that too? Oh, it's the guy I didn't have associated with anybody, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Blonde-haired guy?
Mm-hmm.
There's only 3 other Gundams running around. Good time to get out of the mobile suit.
Well, I mean, everyone ran off, I guess, and she's injured.
Yeah, surely they're not going to come for the 5th mobile suit.
Immediately climb into the cockpit.
なんでまた灰色になったんだ？
メインバッテリーが切れたんだとさ。その機体から離れなさい。
It's a weird thing. I'm not even bothered by her shooting at the kids. Just fucking get away from the Gundam.
Do not step into the tank, kids.
Yeah, seriously.
This is...
I'm not bothered by this anymore. I'm just saying, we're going to explain the colors of the mobile suits by armor. Just seems like a weird thing.
Oh yeah, top military secret too. Can't forget that part, actually. Alright, I'm shooting you for mouthing off.
It'd be more questioning the fact, how'd you know how to pilot the top secret military device, kid? We don't need introductions. You introduced yourself in episode 1. I understand they're introducing ourselves to her.
Yeah, yeah.
But we've gotten this. You didn't have to write this scene.
They've seen too much.
This is like a Simple Gear moment. Well, Miku, now that you've signed the NDA, we're gonna force you into the group.
僕たちはヘリオポリスの民間人ですよ。中立です。軍とかなんとかそんなの何の関係もないんです。
そうだよ。
You just climbed into the mobile suit. You saw more than you were supposed to see.
そうだよ。だからこんなことになったんだろ。
They're trying to claim that there's no jurisdiction on it, but, you know, they built the damn thing here, so...
黙りなさい。何も知らない子供が。
Yeah, tell those kids off.
Yeah, considering how many people we fucking saw die in the streets already.
まさか本当にそう思っているわ
Not
けじゃない
exactly
でしょ。
neutral anymore.
Exactly, that's her whole point here, which is good, actually.
あなたたちはそれを見た。それが今の
You're
あなたたち
being
の
killed,
現実
stop
です。
pretending.
そんな乱暴な。
乱暴でも何でも戦争をしているんです。プラントと
Yeah,
地
where did the
球、
bullets go?
コーディネーターとナチュラル。
Coordinators, there we
あなた
go.
の外の世界はね。
You fire straight up, but you're in a space colony.
So you hit someone on the other side of the colony.
Is it? I thought he was in a mobile suit.
お前はいつでも邪魔だなムーラフラが。もっともお前にも私がご同様かな。
I like that these two just already are like nemesis to each other.
I guess I misinterpreted who was in what thing.
爆発の時、艦におりましたほんの数名だけです。ほとんどが工員ですが。
状況はザフトカはどうなってる？
わかりません。私どももまだ周辺の確認をするのが手一杯で。
Okay.
さすがはアークエンジェルだな。これ式のことで沈みはしないか。
It's just the first episode made it seem like there was the only one ship, and now there's been like another ship that was on the outside that just crashed, and now there's another one right here in the middle of all the wreckage.
まだ通信妨害されている。だが、ではこちらは陽動。ザフトの狙いはモルゲンレッテということか。くそ！あちらの状況は G はどうなったのだ。これでは何もわからん。
こちら X105 ストライク。地球軍応答願います。地球軍応答願います。
Man, it really changed quick from being neutral to I better get on the radio.
All of his friends are being threatened with being shot. I guess he's obeying.
あれでいいんですよね。
そう。ありがとう。
それで、この後
Also, pretty quick reaction timing there to run out past all the dead bodies, by the way, that was surrounding these trucks. Hijack the truck and pull it back here. Once again, without any of the zaft forces seeing you doing it.
We got a lot of time passing for them to like recover and settle in.
Doesn't seem like it, since the background fighting is still happening.
Maybe these guys are just at it for an hour.
この辺で消えてくれると嬉しいんだがね。
It is Rosathon. The Boo are here.
艦を発進させるなど、この人員では無理です。
そんなことを言っている間にやるにはどうしたらいいかを考えろ。
just make it happen language.
それをこのままここにこもって見過ごせとでも言うのか。
連れてまいりました。
シートにつけ。コンピューターの指
Weren't
示
they
通
the
りにやれば
pilots
いい
from earlier?
外にはま
I
だ
think so, yeah.
艦がいます。
Remember when Moo was
分かっている。
leaving the ship or something? He waved off like 4 guys earlier in episode
Yeah,
1?
yeah.
I feel like it was them.
発信シークエンススタート。非常事態のた
So
め
it'd be like ace pilots or something.
C30 から L21 まで省略。
That's a whole lot of processes you're skipping there. There's like 20 on each.
You hear the same thing. And, by the way, is that an engine? Is that just a fucking piston engine on the right hand side? Anyway, you hear the same thing in like, what was the Tom Hanks movie? The space accident?
ここからパワーをもらえ。
Apollo 13.
コンジットオンライン。
Oh, okay.
パワーを
That
集める
to save power, they had to skip a bunch of safety
要
procedures.
請上定格まで20秒。生命維持装置異常なし。CIC オンライン。武器システムオンライン。
Positron blaster gun. There we go. They're shooting positrons. Now we know.
ペレットディスペンサーアイドリング正常
Pellet
内装衝
dispenser.
撃ダンパー最大出力でホールド指導力コンタクトエンジン異常なしアークエンジェル全システムオンライン
Man, I really wish all the people we sent in ahead of time with, you know, plant charges on 10-minute timers had hit this thing.
Apparently they did, but it didn't work.
アークエンジェル発進
I mean, they had all the head time they wanted, right? They could have gone inside the thing and planted the explosives.
All the excitement of pulling out of the driveway there, though.
Oh, look, they've got gun bits too.
Oh, there we go. The actual weapons.
どれですか
And the power
パワー
pack.
パックって。
武器とパワーパックは一体になってるの
What?
そのまま装備して
まだ解除にならないのね、避難命令。
親父やおふくろたちも避難してんのかな。
はあ、早く家帰りてー。
Ah, shit, I lived there.
Hey, it's the fight. It's here now.
モビルスーツ
I appreciate they get that single eye thing of Azaku too.
Yeah, no, I love it just like in general.
Or a
It's
Cylon
great
for that
for
matter.
装備をつけて早く
今のうちに沈んでもらう
Reasonable.
Up and now you can't phase shift armor.
Don't know that would stop anything.
特装砲発射と同時に最大戦速
I mean, what does phase shift armor really even mean?
Good question.
I guess that ship wasn't floating in space a second ago. Otherwise, you've killed everybody on the station.
It was kind of in a locked hangar.
When that suffered massive explosions, right? Apparently
It
didn't
seemed that
damage
they were
the-
breathing just fine.
Yeah. Like I said, we saw little shoes flying around. Shoes that used to have people inside of them. So, the fact that she's unhurt, her clothing was unhurt, is very insane.
Someone had to survive.
I don't think anybody had to survive. I'm also somewhat disappointed. I was hoping for a Legends of the Galactic Heroes sort of transition, because last time we went from this direction, I wanted us to go from the other side and have a Zaft-centric episode.
I don't think we're getting a Zaft-centric episode in this one, I'll be honest.
I don't know. For episode, well, I guess episode 1 wasn't Zaft either. We saw a lot of Zaft stuff, we weren't, like, introduced to it.
I guess it was mostly their infiltration on the first one, yeah.
I guess the Harus are a lot smaller, too. But you have to two-hand cup a Haru here.
友を守りたいただその思いから力を尽くして目の前の敵に立ち向かったキラが放たれた砲火はそんな思いを届けはしない。向けられた銃と銃の間にあるものはただ生と死と憎しみとそのトリガーを引くわけを今改めて少年たちは知る。次回機動戦士ガンダムシード崩壊の大地迫り来る脅威を撃てガンダム。
I guess my other
Very-
question is, where the fuck are the other 4 Gundams? This could be so easy a fight right now.
I think they just retreated and completed their mission, but I forgot the pacing of this. I thought he was actually going to go ahead and like get more directly into it like this episode, but that's just next episode, so my time was off there.
I mean, I like the storyline so far. Hey, here's 15 minutes of ordinary life. Now, fuck, it's all fucked up. Everybody try to survive.
They are definitely like building into it. It's like the the tension for Kira to become a Gundam pilot is rising, and if he doesn't actually meet it, well, everyone he knows is gonna die. They're
Well-
literally right there. He almost stepped on them this time, right?
Well, there's the facet of nobody else apparently knows how to pilot this thing, or at least not as good as he does.
It wasn't even complete, as they said.
Well, I mean, yeah, they have no trained pilots. Like, who test piloted
Oh,
these
God,
things?
That's the funnier thing. He is now the person who built the operating system. He is literally the only person who knows how it works now.
Which makes no sense if you think about it. How do you independently build the operating system, but also know how it interacts with these weird ass controls? Because just because I know how Windows 10 works, doesn't mean I know how the computers at the Pentagon are operated, right?
Right. You already heard the word coordinator of the show. You heard other people calling each other naturals and like doing that in a derogatory way. This is where I'm just gonna say the term for new types in this show is coordinator. They're not the same thing, but that's what the special people are. They're coordinators. Guess what? Kira's one of them.
So you're saying he's not a plant?
He is also a plant. Or no, actually, that's actually the confusing part there. Because I think he's supposed to be on the Earth side here, or like.
Well,
be
you remember
Earth
so we saw
Is it
Athrun and Kira splitting
Yeah.
ways. What I said was, it seems to me that the implication we would get is that Athrun is leaving, but
Mhm.
I think the read here is that Kira left, which meant that he's from where Athrun is from, which is to say that they
Mhm.
are the same.
Yeah. We'll definitely be getting more of their backstory. Like, I mean, that's already basically guaranteed.
Oh no, Early Griff, in the 500 episodes or whatever that makes up Seed, will we explore character backstories and their interactions with one another?
No, it's going to be 498 episodes of just one big long fight now.
I think it's 4 seasons of Seed or something like that.
2.
I think there's more than that.
It says 2, but they're 50 episodes each. So, I mean, yes is the answer.
I don't even mean it that way. I mean it like, I swear when I was looking shit up that there's like Gundam Seed with 4 different names at the end of it. Like Seed Discovery, Seed Freedom, and all that stuff.
Destiny, I think, is one I see here.
Yeah, there's a new one, right? They're making literally a new one right now. But I mean the idea that there's like 4 of them or something like that with different names, which implies 4 different seasons.
Yeah. We'll definitely be here for a minute going over it. But, so for this episode, slower than I thought, but still a good episode, and we got to see our Char clone start fighting.
I mean,
which is
again,
always
there's
fun.
still elements of ridiculousness. Like, again, if she's in charge of what the Gundam is doing right now, why does she have the back cameras on, focused on his friends, and not the thing that's trying to kill them in front of them?
I think they're just 360-degree cameras. Like, they have all the information around them.
Just because I have 360-degree cameras, Griff, doesn't mean that your limited amount of display, because the whole thing isn't a 360-degree display. You're still only displayed on a certain number of things, on a certain number of screens in front of you. Doesn't mean that it should zoom in on them.
Kira reached over to the trackball and spun it or something, maybe? Because it's a Gundam, it has to have a trackball, right?
It's a weird coincidence that makes no sense due to who's driving. Kira, at that point, was not driving.
But mechanically, I don't know. Narratively, like, no, we need to show that Kira understands that his friends are in danger and he has to do something. That's not the point of it, right?
Again, it's not like... It's the Gurren Lagann thing, right? Where Kamina gets to the surface in a mobile suit, and then the mobile suit's having a problem, and it's hunched over on the ground, and the first thing it sees when the cameras come back on is a fucking skull and a skeleton of whatever human being reached the surface. And you realize, Kamina's been telling stories that his dad got to the surface. This must be Kamina's dad. It's like, at least it fucking makes...
How did you know?
Well, at least it fucking makes sense in that perspective. It's like, okay, if he died on the surface, he'd be on the fucking ground somewhere, right?
Yeah,
At the very least, it's like the thing is hunched over. It's literally right in its frontal view. It's not like, oh, these kids are behind me. I'm being attacked by something. I've got two options. I'm not going to look at the person trying to kill me. I'm going to look at these kids.
It may be a little silly, but again, the narrative point is supposed to be there. That's why it's there. And obviously, they can see anything they need to with the Gundam.
I can't wait for that to come back.
They
can see anything they need to with the Gundam. All plot points resolved. Might as well Kirishima from Mashuko Tensei.
Oh, God.
See all things they need to with the Demon Lord.
What else you got, Theta?
I don't know. Let's get on to the next episode.
All right, then. So, I think that's enough for right now. This has been Stone Face Reactions, everybody. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we'll catch you next time. See you around.